Welcome back to the Bible Reading Project with my best friend, Ronnie John Holdeman. It is Hump Day Wednesday, Matthew chapter 26. We're about to kill Jesus off. Man, everybody's ticked. Everybody here's mad in this chapter.
Yeah.
He's been talking chapter 25 Monday. End of the world's coming. This is the way it's going to look. Chapter 26 rolls around. Some pretty good stuff there, man. We were chatting yesterday. Chapter 27, they're done with him. They're going to start getting ready to kill him off. Everybody's plotting. Judas is plotting.
Right.
Everybody's diving in the middle of the week, kind of what's going on. And so Judas, verse 14, he agrees to trade Jesus out.
Right.
And so he agrees that, hey, look, I'm going to trade my bro out for 30 pieces of silver.
Yeah.
And then verse 17 is where we're going to pick up. On the first day of the unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus and said, "Where do you want us to prepare the Passover meal for you?" As you go into the city, he told him, "You'll see a certain man. Tell him the teacher says, 'My time has come, and I'll eat the Passover meal with my disciples at your house.'" So the disciples did as Jesus had told them and prepared the Passover meal there. And when it was evening, Jesus sat down at the table with the 12. And while they were eating, he said, "I tell you the truth, one of you will betray me." Greatly distressed, which is what we said yesterday. Most people think good of themselves, right? Mm-hmm. Each one of them asked, "Am I the one, Lord?" He replied, "One of you who has just eaten from this bowl with me will betray me, for the Son of Man must die, as the Scriptures declared long ago. But how terrible it would be for the one who betrays me. It would be far better for that man if he had never been born." Judas, the one who would betray him, said, "Rabbi, am I the one?" And Jesus told him, "You've said it." As they were eating, Jesus took some bread and blessed it. He broke it in pieces and gave it to the disciples, saying, "Take this and eat, for this is my body." And he took a cup of wine and gave thanks to God for it. And he gave it to them and said, "Each of you drink from it, for this is my blood, which confirms the covenant between God and his people, is poured out as a sacrifice to forgive the sins of many. Mark my words, I will not drink wine again until the day I drink it new with you with my Father's kingdom." And he sang a hymn and went out to the Mount of Olives. Why did Jesus let Judas partake of communion with him? The Last Supper, already knowing what was going on, already knowing that he was going to be the one to betray him. Why did Jesus sit down and not just say, "Dude, just go on. Get out of here. There's no reason for you to take this communion."
Yeah.
Why did Jesus allow Judas to sit down and have the bread and the wine with all the other 11, knowing the whole time he was going to do what he was going to do?
Well, I think, we talked about it. I don't remember if it was on Sunday morning or during the Bible Reading Project, but, we talked about how Jesus did nothing without his Father's permission, which blows my mind and just shows me how far off we all are. But, I think it was part of the will of the Father that he would have him a betrayer in the circle. And it was part of the story as to how his son was going to get to the spot that he would make a sacrifice so that everyone else could have life, that Jesus had to be betrayed so that he could make the sacrifice, be crucified, and so that every human being, including Judas, would have an opportunity at salvation.
That's good. Here's my thinking on it is when he sits down in verse 22, they all ask, "Are we the ones that are going to trade you out? Are we the ones that are going to..." And the reality is, we've said this before, the reality is all of them are.
Yeah, right.
Right, every one of them.
Yeah.
So the better question would be, why did he even sit down with these 12 dudes?
Yeah.
Every one of them are going to leave him.
Yeah.
Every one of them are going to trade him out, not just the guy that gets the money. I'm thinking about Judas. He's smart.
Yeah.
He at least got money. All the others just going to trade him out because they're scared, they're nervous, they're fearful. They don't want to go to jail.
Yeah.
They don't want to be connected to a guy that's probably going to be imprisoned. And so every one of them turn and run. Every one of them leave. Judas was just smart enough, I'm going to get some money out of it. I don't think he ever thought it would go down the way it did.
Yeah.
But yet Jesus sits down with 12 dudes that are going to all betray him and
That's
all. Good. So I got a thought for that because listen to what he said. He starts talking about it'd be far better if you'd not even been born, right?
Yeah.
But verse 28 says, in 27, "Each of you drink from it. For it's my blood, which confirms a covenant, and it's poured out as a sacrifice to forgive the sins." I love what he says, "of many." Not just Judas, but all of us.
Yeah.
So how could Jesus sit down with everybody, knowing that everybody's going to betray them? It's because what he says is because everybody is going to betray me. And that's
Yeah.
how powerful my blood is.
Right.
It's how powerful salvation is. It's how powerful forgiveness is, that regardless of what motive you come to the table, terrible motive, I'm going to take him out. Decent motive, I love him, but kind of
Yeah.
fearful, anxious. For him, it doesn't matter.
Sure.
All he says is if you'll eat and drink and believe, you're forgiven.
Yeah.
So here comes a question. Do you think Judas would have been forgiven?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
Yeah.
But why do you think he committed suicide? Why do you think Judas killed himself?
Because he wasn't willing to eat and drink and believe.
Okay. Yeah, I think when you think about what Judas had to miss, right, for 3 years, that once he traded him out, that his reaction is, I might as well kill myself. So here's some things that he may have been thinking. This is all speculation.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'm never going to be accepted by these guys again because I'm the one that did this.
Right.
If Peter finds out, they're never going to let me travel with him again.
Right.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're never going to have a relationship with me again. And once Jesus knows what I've done, which he did, he's never going to invite me to be back in the club.
Right.
I'm out of that club.
Yeah.
I'm out of the bro club.
Right.
So what he did is, based on his actions, he removed himself of the possibility of ever being restored.
Yeah.
I think the problem today is, fast forward, is one of the same things. Is when we have problems, we remove ourselves out of the possibility of God ever fixing it because we don't know the power of forgiveness, right?
Right.
So I just don't ever go back to church. I got my feelings hurt. I blew it, man. They're never, and then when you blow it, I get so mad, I'm never letting you back in anyway. I'm going to keep the doors closed because you blew it, man. You're out. Bye. You're out of the club.
Yeah, right.
Because I think forgiveness plays on both your heart and my heart.
Right.
Your heart is, I messed up, but I know he's still going to take me in. I know I can still be part of what's going on. And then from my vantage point, it's, oh, yeah, I know you blew it, and I know I blew it, but, man, we got to really work together here, right, toward a common goal. I think that's one thing I've seen at Believers is that I see God really drawing people who've been broken and hurt.
Yeah, right.
Who find great hope that there's forgiveness and great hope that we can all kind of link arms and walk this journey together. So I think somewhere in this mix of these guys following Jesus, they were probably just as clueless as Judas. They probably were just taking this like, oh, this is great. This is bread and wine. We're kind of hungry, having no clue.
Passover.
Yeah, having no clue that this blood was going to be sprinkled for all of them, Judas included.
Yeah.
And yet Judas never could get the understanding of forgiveness.
Right.
I don't think any of them did, really. I think that's
Yeah.
why Peter ran. I think that's why they all ran. And I think had Judas could have survived another 3 days, I think Jesus would have found him and brought him back in. But sometimes we just, we cut the cord before we even give God, people, or friends a chance.
Yeah, I guess that's a good word. Like when you feel like you've blown it so bad that you're just willing to throw in the towel, whether it's, suicidal or just quitting something, to whatever degree, just stick it out 3 more days and ask God to show up, ask God to forgive you, ask God to help you to forgive somebody. Yeah. And even if it's yourself, and I think that's the thing, Judas couldn't even forgive himself.
Right.
So he didn't feel like he was worthy of forgiveness from God.
So real quick, one question, we got a minute. Why do you think we're looking for the perfect team, the perfect people? Like, none of these guys were perfect.
I think,
why are we wanting we don't even want anybody to have a problem. We act like our team is just going to be perfect because we don't do well with broken people or gossipy people.
I think it's because of social media. Like we see all of these pictures in social media and we only see the good things. So we think, well, they have it, so I can get it too. And it's a lie. It doesn't exist. It's...
like even think on church teams. It's like we all come to serve God, but then we get mad at each other. And, we're human. What do you expect?
Even at Believers, like I fart when I come into staff, like, and you're like, oh God, this guy.
God help you. Maybe God will forgive you, maybe not. But I think that's the biggest lie.
I don't know why I just said that. That was stupid.
Well, I forgive you. So we just practiced, right? Yeah. But think about it. I mean, the biggest struggle is there's something about religious people that don't do well having to forgive other religious people.
Yeah.
We just, I can't work with you, go. And I think if we're ever going to build teams and churches that really make an impact in a community, Forgiveness has to be the underlying
Yeah.
key to bring people into community through forgiveness, disciple each other rather than throwing in the towel. Peace out. I'm giving up. I'm done. My feelings are hurt.
That's why I like what Bruce Heibel says, like, Forgiving Forward, that no matter how you cut the gospel, which way you cut it, at the core of the gospel is forgiveness.
Yeah, that's
it's
good.
so critical.
That's good. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We will see you tomorrow on Thursday.